On a freezing mountain pass, the troops of an Afghan warlord look down on a fanatical opponent. To the south, the Islamic warriors of the Taliban are fighting a full-scale war with the ousted government army. But these soldiers fight for a different master, and they feel no fear of Taliban.
و هر کسی دیگه اگر بالای ما تعرض کنه یا جنگ تحمیل کنه ما قدرتی را داریم که از خود دفاع کنیم.
This is the army of Afghanistan's great survivor, the warlord General Abdul Rashid Dostum. He doesn't serve the central government, but he has long used this fighting force to determine who the central government will be. As leader of the Jumbish faction, General Dostum controls 6 northern provinces with the power of an absolute monarch. His people even call him Pasha, the king.
Please.
General Dostum doesn't normally take time off from battle plans, but as the Taliban advanced, he gave us a brief glimpse inside his war room as he plotted his army's response.
General Rashid Dostum,
How do you do?
of National Islamic Movement of Afghanistan. I think we have met before, haven't we?
I don't know if we've met before, no, but I've seen your face many times.
The meeting had one strict condition. We could talk, but I could not
We'd just
ask
like to
questions.
wish you good fortune.
But
in
General
resolving the
Dostum needed
current
little
crisis.
prompting to boast of his power.
We saw your army today and we were very impressed with their preparedness.
Just you have seen 1 or 2 brigades. If you go to other places, if you see all of them, they are very much more prepared than this.
Right.
Yeah, by the help of God, I'm not weak from the point of army.
And it's here on the southern edge of his kingdom that Dostum put pay to the Taliban advance. The Salong Pass is the key to his stronghold, the one gateway between the south and north. The road passes through kilometres of tunnels before winding through the mountains of the Hindu Kush. The last soldiers to try to fight here were the Soviet army. Their ruined tanks litter the highway.
تمام تراز صعب العبوری که حالا میبینم حالا از برف پوشیده شدن. نه تا فعلا بین ما و طرف مقابل کدام جنگ صورت نگرفت.
Dostum's provinces are a blatant barrier to the Taliban dream of one Afghanistan under ultra-Islamic law. In the south, many welcome the Taliban advance for ending the fighting and corruption of rival Mujahideen. But here in the north, they already have peace under General Dostum's iron rule. By Afghan standards, they also have prosperity, with thriving trade and vast reserves of gas. And most are prepared to fight for their independence and freedom. In Dostum's capital, Mazar-e-Sharif, people have reacted in horror to Taliban decrees banning music and smoking. They now know even their children would be in breach of Taliban law. In Kabul, they banned kites for distracting children from scriptures. But the greatest affront to the Taliban is that women here lead normal lives in public.
What do you know about the nouns? Nouns are one of the 8 parts of speech and with name, a place, a person.
Isabel Ahmadi is 3 months from graduating from the only university in Afghanistan the Taliban couldn't stop women attending.
What do you know about? At first, I thought that Taliban want to establish a strong central government in Afghanistan, and it was good. But further, when we saw their treatment against women, that they don't let them work and even go outside, it is very. We are very worried about our future. That what happens with us, because we are studying at the university now, and we are. And we wish a good future for ourselves.
The irony is this is a deeply conservative Muslim state. By tradition, most women wear full-length veils in public. Even some students wait till they reach the campus before changing into casual clothes. The mosque is as central to community life as anywhere in the country, and many of its adherents are fundamentalists. But even the most devout have been shocked by the Taliban extremism.
According to the holy Islam religion, man and woman have the same right, and a man and woman both can study, work.
But the war is not, and never has been, a simple matter of religion. The past fighting between factions has as much to do with Afghanistan's neighbours as with Afghanistan itself. Countries that have played on the religious and ethnic differences here to further their ends. And that, as much as anything, has ensured the fighting goes on.
Russia actively backed General Dostum to oppose the Taliban. They see him as a bulwark against Islamic fundamentalism spreading to the former Soviet states of Central Asia. Iran, in contrast, backs the ousted government of President Rabbani, which is dominated by the Iranian ethnic group, the Tajiks. Pakistan professes neutrality, but they're widely believed to support the Taliban as a means of guaranteeing access to Central Asia. When the Taliban seized Kabul, with Pakistan's apparent backing, Dostum moved his troops to the Salang Pass to prevent them advancing any further north. With the Taliban locked out, he could plan his next move, to fight them or to join them. General Dostum is a master at picking sides and emerging the winner. Originally, he was chief commander to the pro-Soviet regime of President Najibullah. In 1992, he switched sides to the rebel Mujahideen, led by another warlord, Ahmad Shah Massoud. Alongside Massoud's men, Dostum's troops stormed the capital. Najibullah became a virtual prisoner in the sanctuary of the UN compound. Under the Mujahideen government, General Dostum got what he wanted, total control over his provinces. But when the government of President Rabbani challenged him, he besieged and shelled Kabul, all the while proclaiming his desire for peace.
دو سالش ما درگیر جنگ بودیم هیچ جنگ هم تعمیلی بود بالای ما طرفدار جنگ نبودیم حالی هم طرفدار جنگ نیستیم.
Just weeks ago, his forces stood by as the Taliban seized Kabul and hanged his old boss, Muhammad Najibullah. An act of brutality that could only have made General Dostum wonder whether the same fate awaited him. When we met him, he was once again hedging his bets. While his army was preparing for war, a delegation he had sent to Kabul was talking peace.
تاریک طالبان امی بود امی است که از بیشتر جنگ داماندار نسازه جنگ راه حل کننده نیست از راه تفاهم مذاکره
But the Taliban had no intention of laying down their arms. Unable to pass through Salang, they turned their full force on government soldiers who had retreated to the nearby Panjshir Valley. The ousted military chief, Ahmed Shah Massoud, was fighting a rearguard battle to fend them off. President Rabbani had disappeared, apparently on the run. In fact, he had turned to the one man who could save him, his old enemy, General Dostum. We found Rabbani near the Salang Pass, meeting with Dostum's followers in a bid for military support. In his first interview since fleeing Kabul, he told me of the plan for a counterattack.
و همه به تلاشی هستند که هر چیز زودتر این اشغال پایان بپذیره و جنگ در کشور ما خاتمه بیابد و به این اساس البته جنرال دوستم ما تماس‌ها و ارتباط‌های تلفنی داشتیم و داریم اونها هم روی همین احساس خود به خاطر که
Rabbani's offer was not just to respect Dostum's authority, but to increase it through a joint government. Dostum's local commanders, mindful of the Taliban alternative, were quick to endorse the plan.
به صورت مطلق تماما مردم افغانستان از امی رفتار طالبان به کلی یک وحشت در بین مردم افغانستان به وجود آمده و هیچ فرد مردم افغانستان راضی نیست که طالبان بیش از این در افغانستان زندگانی بکنند.
The next day, Dostum's full arsenal was placed at the former government's disposal. As we stood at the Salang Pass, the distant sound of gunfire marked the start of the counterattack. But General Dostum did not send his soldiers into battle. He didn't need to. By supplying the ousted government with tanks, artillery and communications, he enabled Massoud's men to drive the Taliban back to Kabul. Dostum was able to wait on the sidelines, safeguarding his empire. With the momentum now against the Taliban, Pakistan intervened. And once again, it was General Dostum who was able to play off the opposing sides. Dostum agreed to hold new talks with the Taliban. Pakistan's senior representative told me earlier he was confident the two sides would make peace.
General Dostum is a very intelligent and very clever leader. I don't think he would commit any mistake which would drag him into the war with Taliban. I don't think he would, because it was, one of his spokesmen 2 days back said that he would be the last person to get himself involved into this fighting.
So you think he'll actually settle with the Taliban against the former government?
Yes, I think so. Yes, that is what I anticipate.
At the very least, General Dostum has now ended the Taliban threat to his kingdom. And however the current fighting ends, General Dostum is likely to be the winner, choosing the alliances that best serve his faction and expanding his rule to at least half the country. The big unknown is whether his new power will be a harbinger of years more fighting, or a chance to make lasting peace. That too may depend on the next move of this master of the art.